Welcome back to MBOSE with High School Science classes. This is Fremont. Today I will be talking on the topic excretion in human beings. But before I proceed, I would like to request to all my viewers who have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel so that you will get regular updates, and also you can hit the like button or share button if you feel that the video is great, and if you feel that I need to do some improvement, please comment below in the comment section. And again, if you have any doubts, you need clarification, I would be very happy to help you. So today let's go to the topic. Excretion in human beings. This topic is part of the chapter Life Processes Biology from the Science and Technology textbooks class 10s as prescribed by the Meghalaya Board of School Education. You know, in the previous classes, in the videos, I explained about transpiration, I explained about nutrition, and I explained about respiration. And you came to know that our body is like a machine. It does a lot of work. It consumes the food in the cells, and the cells produce energy in the form of ATP, and at the same time the cells produces other kinds of substances which are very useful to the body. So like they manufacture proteins, they create fats for us, and while doing so, the cells produce a huge amount of waste materials, and those waste materials has to be removed out of the body, and the process of removing out of those waste, we call it metabolic waste from the body, is called excretion. So let's see the definition of excretion. So what is excretion? Excretion is a biological process of removing the harmful metabolic waste from the body of living organisms. Now you come across this term metabolic waste. What is that metabolic waste actually means? Metabolic waste is any liquid waste which is produced by the cells in our body or in the body of an organism is called a metabolic waste. So to release the waste materials from the body of an organism, let's say from the body of a human, we have a system which we called excretory systems in human. And the excretory system in human, look at this diagram. The excretory system of human comprises of a pair of kidneys, a pair of ureters, a urinary bladder, and a urethra. Look at this diagram. These are kidneys, and these are ureters. These are ureters, and this one is a urinary bladder, and down below it is a urethra. And you know what kind of metabolic waste are produced from the human body? The metabolic waste produced from the human body, they are also known as nitrogenous waste, which comprises of ammonia, urea, and uric acids. Now let's see how this process of excretion happens or occurs inside the human body. Now let's look at this diagram. This is the kidney of a goat dissected or cut into half, and this one is blood vessels, which comprises of the renal veins and renal artery. Renal means kidney in Latin. So, and this one is a ureter. It is like this. It is a ureter. And when you look at this point here, that is called the renal pelvis, and this area here, it is called the renal medulla, and this structure here, they look like pyramids, so they are called the renal pyramids, and this area here is called the renal cortex. Now let's compare this kidney of the goat with the diagram of a human kidney. In a human kidney, you see this is pelvis, and this is the renal vein, renal artery, mean the blood vessels, the renal veins reached in carbon dioxide, renal artery reached in oxygen, and this area is the renal medulla, and in this area, which is the renal cortex, you will find a lot of these structures, which we call them nephrons. And in one kidney, there are about 1 million of these nephrons, and these nephrons, they are the basic unit of kidneys, and the urine is formed in these nephron. The urine is formed inside this nephron. Now let's see how the urine is formed in this nephron. How the urine is formed here in this nephron. Look at this diagram of a nephron here. This area, you will find what we called glomerulus. This is a glomerulus, and this one, that one is a Bowman capsule, and this blue pipe, which is called nephric tubule, it is the nephric tubule. It is the way through which the urine that is still in form will pass through, down first and then up again, and finally will be pushed or collected into this duct or big pipe, which is called collecting duct, which is just collects the urine from every nephron. Now look closely here, you'll find that in the glomerulus there are a network of capillaries or blood vessels, which are very thin and very small, and they make a network or a group here in the glomerulus, and that glomerulus is surrounded by this Bowman capsule. The blood, which is filled with metabolic waste or with the waste substances, they has to pass, the blood which is filled with waste substances has to pass through this glomerulus, and once they reach there in the glomerulus, they get filtered out because they are so thin. They get filtered out and pass themselves into that Bowman capsule, and once they pass into the Bowman capsule, they are not called blood anymore, but they are called glomerular filtrates. They are called glomerular filtrates, and that glomerular filtrate will pass through this pipe, which is called the nephric pipe or the nephric tubule, down and then up, and then finally will be collected here in the collecting duct. Again, you see these are the blood vessels or the capillaries. They are circling around the nephric tubule. They are circling around the nephric tubule. Why? Why they are circling around like that? The reason is that, remember, the blood which comes here, it just filtered out. There are so many substances which are very useful to the body still need them. And again, there are certain substances which are waste. There are certain substances which are waste materials, but they are not filtered out there, so they are still carried in these capillaries. So these dirty substances, they still have a way to be removed from these capillaries into the pipe. That is one thing. And again, because as I told you, in this pipe, in this nephric tubule, still there are so many substances which are still very useful to the body. Those substances which are still useful will be coming out from there and enter into the blood capillaries. And finally, only the real waste materials which reached here will reach here at the end of the nephric tubule and collected here in the collecting duct. And finally, those substances, once they reached here in the collecting duct, they are now called urine. They are now called urine. And so the parts of urine is from nephric tubule, it goes to collecting duct. From the collecting duct, it goes to the medulla. From the medulla, it goes to the ureter. From the ureter, it goes to the urinary bladder, where it will be stored for some time. Then from the urinary bladder to the urethra, and then out of the body. Sometimes you heard that people, they go for dialysis, or they go to the hospitals to do that process called dialysis. Why to do that process? Certain time it happens that the kidneys fail to do their job because of sickness or diseases in them. If we have two kidneys, if one of the kidneys failed, it is it suffer from diseases, the other one can do the job of both of them. But if, however, both the kidneys fail, they cannot perform their function, at that time it is not possible for the body to make urine. It is not possible for the body to filter the blood. So at that time, the person will have a serious sickness, and the doctors will do this process called dialysis or artificial kidney or hemodialysis. So what is this dialysis or artificial kidney or hemodialysis? A dialysis, is a machine, or is a machine that the doctors use to filter out the blood of the person. It is the machine that replaces the job of a kidney. The doctors use the machine to filter or to clean the blood of the patient, by using the artificial means. So what is dialysis? Dialysis is the process of separating Dialysis is a process of separating small molecules from larger ones by using an artificial kidney machine, which is called dialysis. This dialysis is done in the hospital. You see the patient here, he's sick, and that patient was put in a bed, and there is a machine nearby, and this machine is created in such a way that it works like a nephron. It can filter the blood to produce urine here, and the one which is finished filtering will then go back into the body of the person. Now let's see. From this area, the doctor will suck the blood of the patient. One from the vein will pass through here into the machine and let the blood to flow. Let's say this machine allows the blood to flow into the selectively permeable membrane here. When it reached here, it will be filtered out, and the blood which is dirty will then come out here. So it is a urine there, and the blood which is still useful and full of good substances will pass through this another pipe and then back to the body of the patient, and this process is called hemodialysis or simply dialysis.